Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show, where we get to the heart of why you overeat and how to stop. If you struggle with food and weight like I did, welcome home.
Welcome everybody to the Heal Your Hunger Show. So happy to have you here. It is a great day to be alive. And when I say this is going to be a short and sweet show, I mean it. Short and sweet, get to the point. That's what I like to do. You got stuff to do. So that's what I'm going to do in just 2 seconds here. But I first want to say, if you haven't taken the emotional eating quiz on my website, make sure you do that today, okay? Because on that quiz, when you take it, you're going to get a personalized score that'll tell you if you're an emotional eater or a food addict or somewhere in between. You got to get your score. Get your score, and then next steps for what to do based on your personalized score. Go to healyourhunger.com and take that sucker. It's like 2 minutes. Also, if you're here at the Heal Your Hunger Show for the first time, welcome. So glad you're here. This is where we talk about everything underneath all the noise around weight loss. We're going to talk about real stuff, real experiences from emotional eaters, from my experience as an emotional eater and having been 50 pounds overweight. Yeah, we're going to talk about real things. And I'm going to talk today about boredom eating and whether or not it's really that. So welcome, glad you're here. Let me go ahead and get started. This episode is recorded right now at the Heathrow Airport. I am traveling home from my Europe fun, my Europe travels and experiences, which I will share more about on another podcast. But I just wanted to say that, you know, when I arrived at the airport in the Netherlands, which is where I started from, and now I'm in a layover in London, but when I started in the Netherlands, you know, I checked in, I got to the airport, I went through security and all that, and then I had some dead time. And my first thought was, can you guess? It was food. Of course, it was food. And I just had a moment of thinking I needed to fill that time with eating. And I have to tell you, and I've said it before, I'm not cured. You know, I'm an emotional eater, and I don't think you ever get fully cured for emotional eating. You can heal, and I've been healed by the grace of God. I have so much freedom when it comes to food, but I'm not out of the woods yet, okay? So I have this dead time at the airport, and my first thought is food. And my next thought is, first of all, I don't want to eat because I have 9 hours between where I am now and where I'm going in California. And if I start eating, I'm going to have like 5 meals in order to get back to my regular time zone. So when I travel and I'm headed west, I like to delay eating as much as possible so that I don't have to eat so many times, you know, to get through and to cover that 9 hours. Not saying it's easy, but I don't like to overeat. I don't want to overeat. I don't want to eat more than I need to in a day, but my day is a lot longer. So anyway, that's kind of an aside. So I realized I didn't need to eat to kill time. And I realized that's an old thought. That's just, you know, that's where my habit of emotionally eating took me. You know, I built a habit of filling dead time with eating. Do you relate to that? You know, it's just what we do. It's like, we got time to kill, let's fill it with eating, especially when you're at a public place like a airport where they have so many different concession places where you can eat, and restaurants and snacky foods. And so I have to be on my game. I have to be aware of, you know, those crazy thoughts of, oh, and now I can eat. And I will say 3 Meal Magic saves me every single day of my life. I love 3 Meal Magic because it makes it very clear when it's time to eat and when it's not. And I plan on eating on the plane on my way headed to California. And sitting in the Netherlands airport, it's not mealtime. It's not snack time either, thanks to 3 Meal Magic. So my first thought was, oh, I'm going to fill this time with food. And my second thought is, no, you're not going to fill this time with food. You're not hungry. And furthermore, you're uncomfortable, right? To have free time at an airport is a little anxiety producing. What am I going to do? Where am I going to sit? How am I going to fill the time? I just left my partner. You know, he just dropped me off at the airport and I miss him. There's a lot going on inside of this here person. And if I don't tune into that, I will be looking for some snacks. And I implore you, if you are indeed an emotional eater, take the quiz and find out. But if you're an emotional eater or a food addict, if you're on the high end of the emotional eating spectrum, you have to be ever vigilant, and know that these crazy thoughts of, oh, it must be time to eat, will crop up in many different scenarios. And unless you tune in and get hip to the crazy, you'll be eating all the time and snacking all the time. And if you're somebody who doesn't want to gain weight, in fact wants to lose weight, you better realize how seductive these thoughts are and get hip to them. So I caught myself, my first thought is, oh, I can eat now, and my second thought is, no, you can't. First of all, it's not mealtime. Second of all, you're not hungry. And third of all, you're uncomfortable with being. And when people tell me they eat out of boredom, I want to challenge that. And I do challenge that every single time, because as emotional eaters, we're just uncomfortable with not being busy. Why? Because we have feelings in those dead spaces. And it may not even be an identifiable feeling, but it's still a feeling. It's a feeling of anxiousness, if you want to put a word on it. And I don't even think that's totally accurate, but we tend to be anxious eaters, where we eat out of a nervousness, out of a sense of discomfort with the present, with the here and now. And I want to really encourage you to tune into this. When you have dead time, when you feel like you're bored, dig deeper. Okay, dig deeper. Is it boredom, or is it a little bit of nervousness around doing nothing, around having nothing planned, no structured time, just a moment of being with yourself? So I want to encourage you to just notice when you have dead time and ask yourself, am I really bored, or am I just feeling a little anxious about not having anything to do? There's a difference. It's not boredom. It's a feeling of nervousness around the unknown, right? The unknown of how am I going to fill the time. It's nervousness around just being. As overeaters, we tend to be overdoers. We're used to being on the go, on the move, people needing us, feeling overwhelmed and harried. We like that feeling because it makes us feel important. It makes us feel busy. It definitely makes us distracted from the here and now. And so the boredom feeling is like, we just don't know what to do with dead time. We don't know what to do with sitting with ourselves. It's the last thing we typically want to do, because we've spent our lives running from ourselves, running from being, and we forgot that we're human beings, not human doings. So I just want to challenge you. I'm just here, just a little birdie in your ear saying it may not be boredom. You can stay convinced that it is. That's your choice. But I want you, and I really, really invite you to just notice that you're not comfortable with being. Notice that when there is dead time, you have to fill it with TV or radio or a podcast. Sorry, I just had to say it. Are you somebody that constantly has to be busy, constantly has to have noise, constantly has to have distraction? And if so, it could be because you're just not comfortable being with you. Because when you're with you, you have feelings. And my friend, you gotta acclimate to your feelings. They're not as bad as you think they are. They're not gonna kill you. But you do have to practice being with them. And that's new. I understand that. And if you want support in that, reach out. I'd be happy to show you how. I love you so much. Again, coming to you from Heathrow Airport in London, England. I can't wait to see you on the next show. Take care. If you're ready to get off the dieting roller coaster ride and finally make peace with food and with your body, talk to a Heal Your Hunger mentor about what steps you need to take based on your own history with food and weight. Go to healyourhunger.com and register for an emotional eating breakthrough session and see how fast you can experience real change. It's a complimentary evaluation, but there are limited spots available. So go to healyourhunger.com and register to speak with a mentor today.